Playing cash games, otherwise known as ring games, allows for the most convenience for online players because of the huge selection of active tables and levels available around the clock. You can come and go from any table as you please for however long you want to play. Now, isn't that great? Well, it sure is for those who know the fundamentals of winning, which among them are understanding odds in poker, knowing how to make consistently profitable decisions, and being able to choose the right game level for themselves. In all Holdem games, understanding the odds of poker is vital to success. Without such fundamentals in cash games, it's impossible to make profitable decisions long term. So let's look at a common but important odds calculation right now. This one is for an open-ended straight draw. You have limped in with your Jack-8 offsuit in the small blind and decided to check after a rather promising flop of 9-10 ace. There are 5 other players in this pot who all call the $1 bet put out by the big blind. When we add all the new bets to the pot, it's now $8, and we must call $1 to continue playing. So expressed as an odds ratio, that's 8-1, and these are your current pot odds, which are rather lucrative pot odds in most drawing situations. But how do you know that? How do you know putting $1 in this pot is a good play? Well, the key to making profitable decisions in poker is comparing your pot odds to the probabilities of something happening, and in this case, it's hitting your straight. To hit our straight on the next card, we need to hit one of these 8 cards on the board, either 4 sevens or 4 queens. This is known as having 8 outs. So we already have identified 5 known cards in this hand, our hole cards and the 3 flop cards. That leaves us with 47 unseen cards remaining in the deck. We really only want to see a certain 8 of them, so we need to know the probabilities of that happening, and here's how the math goes for that. Of those 47 cards, 8 are good cards for us and 39 are not. Let's express that as a ratio as well in saying 39-8, which can be factored down to 4.9-1. If you look at these ratios, you can see that the pot odds are actually a bargain compared to our odds for our draw. If the pot odds were, say, only 1.5-1, well, that would be too expensive for this particular draw. This is a simple calculation, but a very common draw in poker. We'll talk more about odds in other videos, but if you can make profitable plays like this consistently, cash games may just be your game. Pot odds and winning odds are going to come up so often in poker that you won't really be doing any difficult math at the table, because you'll instantly be able to recognize a common situation and simply put the numbers to it. Repetition of good decision making will ensure long-term profits, because in cash games, everything comes down to long-term profits or expected value, EV. EV is normally associated with the ranking of hand strength and how much certain hands can win over time, but you can also associate EV with positive or negative strategic plays in the game. Our Jack-8 offsuit call was actually a positive EV play, because no matter what happens in that particular play, we know that if we make that same call over and over and over again, we will hit our straight enough times to make the money. If you sit at a cash table with your full poker deposit, you're very likely to experience a downswing because you have extra pressure to produce results, and that will actually set the stage for poor decisions. Even if you manage to make good decisions, that is no guarantee you'll win money. That's what poker is all about, and several losing sessions in succession are not unusual even for the world's very best players. If they can go on a losing streak, so can you. So pick a buy-in and level that is more appropriate for your skills and your bankroll. For example, with a $200 deposit, you can comfortably sit at a buy-in of 10 or 5% of your bankroll. In this example, you can see that when I choose a table in the Paddy Power Poker Cash Game lobby, by clicking on the table and seat open, you'll be shown the minimum and maximum buy-in for that betting level. You can see that in particular for the no limit tables, the betting levels are very low compared to the buy-in. This 5-10 table has a maximum buy-in of 100 big blinds, which is not unusual. Remember, at these tables, you can have your entire buy-in in play in one hand. That's why you don't want to bring your full bankroll to the table. Although cash games are very convenient to fit in your schedule, they do require you to pay close attention to the action, even when you aren't in a hand. You should play tight in cash games to start, especially from early position. Play few hands and play straight up solid, analyzing other hands at the table. Try and figure out who makes errors and what they are. If you study the game while playing tight and being patient, you will learn a lot about it and your opponents. Of course, you know there's more cash game tips in the Paddy Power Poker Academy.